They overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony.
Hi, my name is Emmanuel Smith, and I am going to speak on a topic that I think is not talked about enough. I personally have experienced this topic all my life. I think many people say that they have someone in their family that does this very thing. And I don't think people understand it enough to know what to do and how to help that person or people. So the topic is stuttering and stammering. Um, and I'm going to talk about my own personal experiences, good, bad, and whatnot. And so it all, well, first, I'm going to give some education on it. So, um, I used to think that stuttering was hereditary. That, hey, my auntie did it, my daddy kind of did it. So that means, hey, I'm supposed to do it also. But stuttering has a lot to do with your speech development as a child. It's not nothing passed down. And let's speak on that for a quick second. Hereditary is based on what's in your DNA. Like, let's say there's a disease that is passed down through your blood. Now, that's hereditary. You cannot stop that, fix that, maybe not. Uh, but to say behavior is passed down, so as a baby, you're destined to be or have this behavior. Uh, I can't totally agree with that. As a child does not know anything. A baby, you're just born. You don't know nothing, really. Your parent or your guardian or whoever has you, they have to teach you. We learn by sight, by hearing, by doing. So, baby cannot be like this or like that until they develop into that. Let's say that your parents, they were thieves, like professional. Now, if those parents, if they expose you to that, they showed you how to do it. They trained you the lingo, how to act, how to do it. Then it's still not hereditary. It's cultivated. It's something that you have learned, that you have picked up on. And so, yeah. Anyway, back to me. So, stuttering, which I've read some books, I've seen some videos, I've really dove into it, and it is not hereditary. Um, your speech development as a child has everything to do with if you are going to stutter or not. In my case, uh, most parents, they want their child to speak great, So when you say things backwards or you spell backwards or whatever, you're taught that, oh man, that's so wrong. Don't do that. That's not the right way to speak. Now, that's good and it can be bad how much pressure you put on that child. So I think in my case, the pressure was put on me to to speak per to speak perfectly. And so I had a couple of things not going good in my corner. First of all, my mom, she taught me how to speak. You know, I heard her speaking every day. She taught me, hey, English, how you speak like this, you say it this way. And so subconsciously, well, consciously, I didn't think anything was wrong with that, which is kind of not. But my mom talked, and she still does. She talks very fast. And so, because my speech had some glitches in it, me trying to talk very fast causes me to stutter. Well, it caused me to stutter, and so so yeah, that that's the first. That is the first thing. Is that it's not hereditary. It's something that's developed. Um, and it has to do with your speech. The see, I'm trying to talk fast right now, and I'm stumbling over my words. So anyway, so my mom, she talked very fast, and so me, I'm emulating her speech, and so I wasn't taught. Well, my mom did say, "Hey, slow down, take your time." But as a child, I am emulating her speech. So it's kind of hard to tell me to slow down when you speak fast. So, and as a child, you don't know things are not okay or they're they're wrong until someone tells you that. I didn't think nothing was wrong with my speech. I just thought, hey, I'm talking, yeah, I know. Until I started to go to school, and children are horrible for this, but it happens all the time. If someone is different, um, they're put on display as if it's bad. So let's say a person has an arm that's shorter than the other and is very noticeable. You know, children will pick at them as if they can help how they are, you know. So the same thing happened to me. So what I see as as I, what I see as being normal is now being pointed out as something's wrong with me. Uh, my speech is not like everybody else because the children are picking on me, and I'm like, what did I do? You know, I can't help how I speak. You know, and so yeah, children would copy how I talk, and then and then others would join in and say, and so at first it's like I'm kind of confused because I haven't been taught that my speech is messed up, you know. So I'm the type of person. I would say I started off as an extrovert. I like to talk. I like my friends and I like to hang out and stuff. So at first I'm still trying to talk and I don't see it as a problem. And so what happened was that it was, I remember this day. It seemed like I was picked on every hour on the hour. Cause when you're in school, you're asked to to say a sentence or come and give a report and just different things. And so for a normal child, oh, I wish you a child might be nervous or whatever. I had a different type. I I was not so much nervous. I began to develop anxiety. Cause I'm not thinking of, oh man, I'm kind of nervous. No, my mind is set on how will I say this S word, this W word, this F word, So it ain't about being nervous. It was all about being embarrassed. Me being embarrassed because I don't speak perfectly. So I have to try harder. Anyway, so this particular day, I think I was picked on from the morning time till the evening time. I mean, it just did not let up. So I went home crying, bawling my eyes out because I'm upset. I'm embarrassed. I'm just angry, and I'm like, why do I talk like this? Why can't I talk perfectly like everybody else? So I go home, I'm crying. I tell my mama, I was just picked on all day. Uh, why do I talk like this? Why can't I stop talking like this? Why can't I stop stuttering? And so my mom, she just told me, son, don't worry about what others have to say. Their opinions do not matter. Just take your time and slow down. And so it went in one ear and out the other. I was very concerned about what people thought about me whenever I would talk. And I think after that moment, I think I was probably in maybe third grade, second grade, something like that. And after that, I believe I became an introvert publicly. Meaning, if I'm around a group of people, a lot of people, I will not express myself like I would normally do. And so this goes on, and now I'm very conscious of my speech, my stuttering. And even though my mom said, "Hey, take your time, slow down," that was hard for me to do because I'm with my mom. She talks fast. I'm trying to slow down, but in my my mind is trained to speak quickly, and society teaches you to speak quickly. Someone call your name, you have to say your name. When a teacher calls your name, you have to read off this paragraph. And so, oh man, school just became. I would absolutely hate when they would uh when we had reading class. And so this is what I would literally do. A lot of my friends from back in the day do not know what was going on in my mind, but oh my goodness, I did not know how to call it. I did not know to say that, it's anxiety, it's whatever. But I definitely had anxiety. I was stressed out. Who knows what my blood pressure really was? Because if we had to read out loud. This is what I would do. I would count the paragraphs that we had to do up until when it came to me. Um, I would look at the book and say, oh, okay, it's 10 people before me. So I would count it and I would go, okay, so this right here is going to be my paragraph. So I go, okay, there's an S here, there's a W here, there's a, oh man, I'm gonna be stuttering all over this. And so as it got closer to me speaking out my paragraph, oh my goodness, the anxiety would just be so strong. And so then when it came to, hey, let's say I had to say, Harry had a huddle lamb. And so I was start off, Mary, like, oh, let me break down what I can compare stuttering to. Stuttering is like a machine gun. You can't, once it starts, you cannot stop it until it's done. And I would say stammering is kind of like if you're trying to play football. And so the person throws the football and getting you you are getting ready to catch it, but you can't hold on to the ball. It just keeps on. You can't catch it. So with stammering, you can still talk, but you just kind of fumble your words a little bit. But stuttering is on a whole nother level. So this is why I say I don't stutter now. I just stammer. And to go from stuttering to stammering, it's a guide. Because I did not think that I would ever be, first of all, being on the telephone sidebar, answering the phone. First of all, I had a high voice until I was probably like 15 or 16. So, first of all, when people would call my house, they thought they thought I was a girl. So that's one strike. Then I would stutter through the whole conversation. So I hated to answer the phone. I could not say my name. This is how bad I stuttered. It was horrible. So, and to be in front of a camera like I am now, I could have never did this as a teenager or a young adult. Never. I would be petrified. So the fact that I'm sitting here and people might point out, he messed up right there. He messed up over here. But if you heard me talk as a child, as a teenager, as a young adult, it would go, wow, he has come along, right? He has really worked on his speech because I remember, and some people from my old school and church, they can tell you this dude used to stutter. Like he could not get a sentence out. Someone had to finish the sentence for me, which, by the way, is not cool. Please, a person that stutters, they have worked so hard to get words out. And for you to come and help them does not help them. If anything, tell that person that stutters, hey, take your time, take a breath, slow down. Say what you are going to say in your mind. That helps. Anyway, so where was I at? I was talking about in class, if you have to speak. I kind of threw my whole story off. Um, but let's start from there. I was in school having a talk. So this is like grade school. So I'm gonna skip some parts. So yeah, that day that I was just talk I was just talked about so much that I went home crying, being in class, having to read out loud, so much anxiety, so much stress, just crazy. Oh, I think I know how I stopped there. Answering the phone, and I might like dip in and dip out of stories. So just keep up. So yeah, talking on the phone, being in front of a camera, having to go up in class, even with a group of people, I was still nervous. I was still embarrassed before the embarrassment came, because in my mind, I'm thinking I'm going to mess up. So I'm anticipating it. I'm like, man, I'm gonna be so embarrassed for whatever. Um, and so I would say the most embarrassing moment in my life was 1999, the year that I graduated from high school. So I went to a private Christian school. At the time, I didn't understand why my mom wanted to keep me in private schools, in Christian schools, because I thought, man, going to the prom is fun, and you know, getting picked up on the bus, that's cool, and this and that. But today, I thank my mom for the sacrifices that she made, because private school is not cheap, and we were not rich by no standards. So, um, but she wanted me to know Christ all throughout school. So even if she's not there to teach me, she knows that, at this school, yeah, and every school has their issues and problems, and everybody is not perfect. But the fact that Christ was always the center of the schools that I went to, I thank her. Now, back to the most embarrassing moment. It was graduation. I believe it was the first uh the first day. So I some schools they do this. They will have 3 days of a graduation. The first day might be called commencement, or I don't know all the terms, but the first day your family comes, and because this school was out of town, so my mom and my friends and my and my family, they had to come from out of town to come to my graduation. So I'm talking too fast. So it was 3 days. So it wasn't like, okay, they come, I graduate, we didn't spend all this money for one day. Anyway, so on the first day of the graduation, and it was 3 days, um, my music teacher thought, I don't, was he my music teacher? I don't think he was, but he had some part in the music department or whatever. Anyway, so I guess they have done this before, or that could have been the first time that they did it. But anyway, they had each student record themselves on audio, telling their family, friends how much they appreciate them, etc., etc. So, guess what was going to be the problem for me? My speech. Because, like I said, I still stuttered as a teenager. I'm about 17 at this time. So before we record anything, I tell the person, listen, I stutter. I don't want to do this at all. My family, they know I love them. I care for them, so they don't need to hear me stuttering over no audio. Somehow this dude convinced me to record myself talking. And see, in my mind, I know there are going to be a lot of people that are going to hear me talk. So the anxiety, the stress, uh, the future embarrassment, I can already feel it even before I speak. So he compares me. Hey, he compares me. It's no big deal. It's not that. It's not hard. Don't tell me that because you don't know or even understand what's going on in my mind and my speech. So we do take one off the rip. I I I I I just wanna, and I'm like, we cannot take this take at all. No. So we do take two. Guess what? The same thing. I I I just want to. We cannot use this take. He's like, hey, just take your time. Da, da, da. Listen, I am. Back then, I didn't know how to take my time, how to take a breath. So the third take, it didn't change. So he said, well, that's it. That's it. He said, yeah, this is it. It's okay. I'm like, no, I begged this dude. I said, please, please do not play this. My family's going to be here. Yeah, they know I stutter, but my classmates, family, and friends, no, do not play this. Please don't. What did he do? He played it. Yeah. Even that day as a child, when I was just talked about, that was not the most embarrassing moment in my life. This right here, this right here was the most embarrassing moment. So we get there, they call my name. And I'm just like, this is not going to be good. I know it. So they gave us flowers to give our parents, family or whatever. So I get the flowers and I'm going to pass them out. Play. I all through. I think there was like a minute and a half throughout the whole thing. I am stuttering, and it's just quiet in this church, and all you hear is me stuttering over big speakers. The most embarrassing moment of my entire life. That sucks so much. And I've stuttered and had other things happen, but that right there, yes, was the most embarrassing. So, um, so I graduate. I turned 19 that same. I was 18 when when I when I graduated, but I turned 19 that same at the end of the year. So I just had an epiphany, like, man, I'm going to figure this thing out because this is not cool. I have so much to say, and I can't let fear stop me. You know, first time in my life that I thought like this. So I'm like, let me then. This is back in the day. So libraries was the internet. so so I go to the library, pick out some books. I come to find out a lot of famous people stuttered. Um, James Earl Jones was one person. Some other people. So as I'm reading this one book, it's about James Earl Jones, and I hope that's the right James because it's like two of them or three of them. Anyway, so he said something that so throughout the book they're giving you tips that these famous people have done to help them to speak better. So James Earl Jones said that what helped him to stop stuttering was to put marbles in his mouth and then talk with the marbles in his mouth. So it kind of forced him to talk slower. And so I'm taking all the tips, right? Even I don't think I did it. And so I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but I don't know. So then the next step was to speak extremely slow. And it said, tell your family, your friends, if you work, tell your boss, your employer, your employees, your fellow employees. Let them know so when you begin to speak very slowly, they will understand that you're working on your speech. And I was like, I can't do that. That makes no. It makes sense, but it doesn't make sense because in the world you have to speak like somebody call your name. Da, 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 this is me. Like you have to speak quickly, and so after that, I stopped reading the book and was like, you know what? I'm gonna take the tips and steps, and I'm gonna keep on doing some research. So at this point in my life, I probably need to one day just talk very very slow, like practice that. Anyway, so I'm 19, and I'm like, man, I have become an introvert, but that's not really my personality. I'm an extrovert. So I came up with the idea, and I truly believe it was the Holy Spirit. It was like, listen, you have to practice speaking. The thing that you're most afraid of, you have to step by step, huddle by huddle, begin to do it until you get that confidence. So it's not you saying, "Well, I stutter, so I'm not going to speak." That's what I. That's what I did. Okay, so I am 19, and I have made up in my mind a change has got to come. so, um, so I began to self-diagnose myself. I didn't read this in any book. I just thought, well, my fear is my speech. Um, I'm stressed. I have anxiety. I lock up. I can't breathe. And so, therefore, tend to stutter more. So, I came up with this idea. I said, wherever I go, I'm going to speak to people. If I go to the store, I'm going to speak to the cashier. If I go to get gas, I'm going to speak to the attendant. Um, if I, of course, I go to church, I'm gonna speak to people. And so I began on this journey to um to just be more extroverted. Speak more. Uh, just be more friendly. I'm a friendly person by nature, but I let my speech stop me from doing so much. Um, so an example of that, let's say, I can think of a bunch of times, but one time I was with a group of friends from church, and so we had a uh, lunch or whatever. And so everyone's just kind of joking. They telling stories from, hey, y'all, check out this, man. This one time, da 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 da. And so I had a funny story. But here comes the anxiety. Here comes the stress. Here comes the future embarrassment. So I was like, man, I'm gonna tell my story and I'm gonna stutter all over it. Are they laughing at the story or are they laughing at me telling the story as I stutter? So many times I chose not to speak because I was just so like, man, I'm gonna mess up. People gonna look at me and be like, ha ha, we're laughing at you, not at your story. So, but now I'm 19 and I'm like, listen, man, a change has to come. So I began to implement speaking to the cashier at the grocery store or wherever, uh, talking to the attendant, speaking to them when I go get gas, and just being more open and friendly. And so, me doing that helped me so much. It gave me confidence that that stuttering is not who I am. It's just something that I do, and I can't stop. I can't change it. I can't. So also, when I began to answer my phone, see, since I've been speaking to people, when I'm when I answer my phone, it's like, "Hi, how you doing? My my name is." So I began to practice that also. And so before long, I had so much confidence that I have now. I don't think, oh man, I'm gonna answer the phone and I'm gonna say hello. No, I'm not going to have none of those issues. Cause why? Because now I have that confidence. And so I began to go from a person that stuttered to now a person that doesn't stutter as much, you know. And so as I begin to keep on practicing, now it's just second nature to speak to people. And now when I answer my phone, I even have this little fake hi. It's like a hi, how you doing? And so a couple of people have thought I was a machine. And so they was like, um, hello? Is am I on a recording? So but that all comes from the confidence of God. One day, I have to go back. One day, God just told me, because I'm sitting here complaining, saying, man, I stutter, I this, oh man, I can't speak. And da-da. Now, here's one tip though. I never had a problem talking to girls. And I had all the confidence talking to girls. So I never had an issue with, oh man, I'm a stutter, I'm mess up. First of all, I must make this known. My dad, Papa wasn't Rolling Stone, but my dad was a charmer. So I definitely cultivated that from him. Talking to females was not an issue. I did not. It was like I was just so much calmer and smooth, just no issues. It's not to say I didn't stutter, but I did not stutter like I normally do. So that was the that was the look at me. That was the difference. So I was still how you do, but when it came to girls though, your boy was smooth now. I learned from the best. So um but yeah, so I keep on practicing. Oh yeah. Yeah, God just talked to me one day. I'm complaining. I'm saying, man, I stutter. Why do I stutter? Why is this my light? And why can't I speak perfectly like other people? And God just stopped me and said, listen, the way to have confidence in your speech is that you have to speak. You have things that the world hates to hear, you know. And so God saw me at that point as being in the future. Now He saw me as a person that would work a job that I have to face front communicate with customers. So I had to have confidence to do that. And so God said, yeah, you have to talk. You have to speak. So you are gonna have to get over this, beat yourself up and oh, woe is me. I can't speak and people talk about me and da 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 da. You have to move on from that. So I would say okay, so I spoke on the the my worst experience, which was in high school. But I'm gonna tell you guys about the one that hurt me the most. Like it just like cut me. So I'm in high school, still going to a private Christian school. So I had to take the public bus to get there because it was far from where I lived. So so when we took the bus, there were some people that were going to school. There was a Catholic school across the street from us. So there were students who would catch the bus with us. And so we became cool with them. A couple of my classmates and other students who would go. We went to the same school. We would catch the bus wherever they live. I would catch the bus, or if I think it was when we would go home. Yeah, when we would go home, and maybe sometime we caught the bus to school. Either way, we was on a bus with students from the school that was across the street. So one day, and now there were times when I'm in a small group, like let's say two, three people, I don't feel the fear of man, I'm a stutter, or I might not even pay attention to the fact that that I do stutter. I might just go, I don't even care. I'm cool with these people. If hey, if they hear me stuttering, I don't care. So anyway, I'm on a bus, and we have become cool with these other students. So um one day, as we're going to our homes or whatever, we're taking the bus from school. School is out, and so we're all going home to our homes. Y'all get it. And so uh there was a particular girl that I liked that was going to the Catholic school. Pretty, you know, my your boy's type. So, and I didn't try to talk to her like that because I think she liked one of my homeboys. So, I ain't the type where hey, it's like five dudes, and I'm one of them trying to talk to the same girl. I'm cool. I'll back off. It's other fish in the sea. So anyway, so that particular homeboy told me like, bro, man, I gotta tell you something, and I'm like, what? And he said, hey, hey, such and such. Of course, but that's what we do. Say, hey, such and such, and it's like, yeah, I know such and such. Anyway, so he tells me, hey, so and so, she asked me if you were slow. I was like, what? If I'm slow? Based on, I was highly offended. Am I slow? Now, I've been talked about. I've been copied. My feelings have been hurt. I've been super embarrassed in high school, graduation. But I've never had anyone hinted at that they think I was slow because of my speech. And so I'm like, man, I'm like, what? Am I slow? She asked you that about me? And he said, yeah, man, I just wanted to tell you. And I guess my friend told me because he knew that I liked the girl and he didn't want me to try to approach her, and she's thinking this about me. And so me, deep down inside, being a extrovert, but I just put on this introvert mask because of my speech. I just kind of hold back. But the introvert came out and I approached her. I was like, "So you think I'm slow?" And she looked confused, like, "Huh, what?" I was like, "My homeboy told me that you asked him." And she just looked like shocked and like embarrassed, like, "What?" I was like, "So you think I'm slow because of my speech?" And she didn't answer, but I can guarantee you, after my homeboy told me that what I liked about her was gone, never to return. Like, seriously. Anyway, so I would say, even though I was talked about as a child that one day, and it was just too much. I was hurt. My feelings were hurt. But this right here, like, cut, like, deep, like, what? And I think it cut more because I actually liked her. And so I would say that's the most hurt thing that she didn't directly ask me that, but indirectly, that was the most hurtful thing, you know, that I've ever experienced. Um, Let me tell a funny story. So this is after high school, probably 2 years after high high school. I go and I work. I'm desperate to make money, so I'm like, hey, I do whatever, not whatever, but you know what I'm saying. So, so there's this high paying job. Every everybody's trying to get in on this job, but you can't always get in. So I took the huddle test that you have to take, and you have to pass it to even be considered to get the job. So I failed that test. And so I'm like, well, I guess it ain't meant to be. And then my homeboy gets the job. And I'm like, if this dude can get the job, I know I can. So I kind of hooked to see like how long can you pre-apply or take the test. So I had it, and he told me how to pass it. So I was like, all right, cool, cool. So I passed the test. And now, keeping in mind, I kind of know what the job is about, but I don't know. So I get the job, and so they're telling me, guess what the job was? Keeping in mind, I still stutter, people. I don't stutter as much, but I still do. So the job was a call center for Direct TV. At this point in time, Direct TV was on top. So they were super busy. So as I'm as I'm being trained for this job, I'm just like, how did I get here? I'm like, why did I take this job? And so like I told the person training me, I said, listen, I stutter. It's not crazy, but I do. Especially if pressure comes, like a customer is like out, if they are irate, and I have to speak fast. You know, you pick up the call or whatever because you have your headset on or whatever, and so you just press some button, and then the person, hey, I'm calling about my cable, my I was gonna, I was about to say cable. I'm calling about my direct TV service. It is off and it does not work. And so we have to put a little strap saying, you say, oh, okay, sir, have me do such and such. So if a customer is not trying to hear what you're talking about, they just upset. Oh man, then I'm like, well, where else, sir? And it's just, it's just crazy. I do not know how I. Let me think. I probably worked there for maybe 3, 4 months. How did I survive that job that long without them saying, Emmanuel, we like your productivity and you're friendly, you're nice, but hey guy, without them saying, hey, your speech is amazing while we're letting you go. How did I last that long? Because I still stuttered. So I was able to kind of manipulate and kind of work around things, but it didn't cure my speech. So anyway, come about 4 or 5 months, they did pull me in the office and was like, we like you, but there's a couple of things that are holding you back. And I'm like, my speech, all right. Didn't want to say that, uh, but yeah, we're gonna have to let you go. And so they had me go, took my bike, went back home, and then a week or so after that, I find out I have my first child is on its way. And I'm like, I began to have fear, not because, oh man, I have a child. How am I going to take care of this child? Da, da, da. Just lost my job. I only get like $20 in my bank. Yeah, those things did concern me. But what concerned me the most was like, is my child gonna stutter like me? You know? And I'm like, oh man, I began to have fear because I remember me as a child, what I had to go through. And so come to find out, and I'm skipping like a few years. All of my kids stuttered as children. So let me break down um, the whole stuttering thing. Like I said earlier, is that your speech development has everything to do with if you are going to stutter or not. And of course, it has to do with that child, but because I stuttered, I had my first child. I was 22. Uh, I had my middle child when I was 24. Then I had my last child when I was 27. And I was still stuttering, not so much, but your kids emulate the speech pattern of their parents or their guardians or grandma or whoever. So, my oldest stuttered, and the first time I heard him stutter, I was like, "Oh Lord, no, no, please don't let this be the struggle, the anxiety, the embarrassment. No, please do not put that lot on my child." So we put him in speech therapy, and so a speech pathologist helped him, which I wish I had. But we're talking about the 80s. I know I didn't have I did not have access to that. So it was just me trying to self-medicate my issue. So but yeah, so we put him in speech therapy, and that helped him so much. And so he would come home and actually tell me what he learned. And that helped also. So then I had my middle child. I have two boys and a girl. So he stuttered just like me as a child, and I mean almost worse. I was highly concerned, like, Lord, no to the no, no. And so we put him in speech therapy too. Plus, his brother taught him what he learned. So they're only 2 years apart, 2.5. So my son was still going to these classes, and so he's teaching him, and then we put him, my middle son, in a class too, and so he learned. I was so like, oh, thank you, God, because he was gonna stutter worse than me, and I was very, very, very concerned. So then had my daughter when I was 27, and guess what? She started to stutter too. And I'm like, oh, Lord, please don't do this to me. And so, uh, and so now her older brothers like helped her, and at this point, I was learning some things too. So I was able to kind of help her, and she might have stuttered for half a month, and then she stopped. So I was like, thank you, Lord. So another pivotal moment was when I turned 30. It was like I had an epiphany. I was, matter of fact, I think I was, yeah, yeah. I turned 30, and I'm like, man, I want to conquer this thing. Like, I want to really understand, because now it's 11 years later, and so technology has come up. The internet is well, the internet came in the late 90s anyway, but your boy didn't have access like that. I had to go to people's homes to, my friends' homes to get AOL and all this stuff. Uh, Dial up. That stuff was so slow. Anyway, so so I'm like, let me research this thing again and go deeper. This is when I found out that it's not hereditary, because I still thought that, and so there was a famous speech pathologist, a older white guy, and he's talking about uh the myths of stuttering. Is hereditary, is this, is that. And so he pointed out that there is no one person that speaks perfectly. We use well, we pause. The only people who you might think speak perfectly are people on the news and politicians. Not all of them. Some of them is like, we know that you don't speak perfect. But the politicians and the news anchors, they're taught how to talk like that. So it's not a natural thing, you know. So this I can't think of the guy's name, but I learned so much from him, and it changed my way of thinking when it came to stuttering and where it comes from. And, did you get it from your family? Is it passed down? Um, and so he spoke about one of his clients and how they just thought, and it was the same thing that I thought. I need to speak perfectly. And if I don't, that's when all the anxiety comes, the stress, the embarrassment. And so he said that he took his client on the set of a famous TV show. And so the client was complaining to this speech pathologist that, man, I can't talk perfect. Everybody talks perfect but me. So on a show, they have their lines, they have to speak a certain way or whatever. And so, of course, there are many takes to get to the final product. So, as he saw the people messing up, their speech was not perfect as he thought, he began to change his mind about his stuttering. And so that made me change my mind that there's no one person that speaks perfectly. And so as I'm learning and learning, I was like, God told me that he has a what do you call it? God has a mission for me. I have a calling. And so I thought for so long I need to be in the background. I need to be unseen because my speech and all this stuff. And so I work perfectly good in the background. I don't hate to be up front. People don't hate to hear me talk. And so God once again he reiterated that you have something to say that the world needs to hear. You have a job that you are going to have to interact with people. And so 2013, when I turned 33, it was like I just had another one where it was like, listen, who cares if you mess up? Who cares what people think? Just do you say what you have to say. If you stumble, if you stutter, and at 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 this point I stopped stuttering. And there was this huge transition from I'm trying to talk too fast. There was this transition from stuttering to stammering, to where I stopped stuttering and I was like, wow, I did. And so that particular speech pathologist said, you have to practice. You have to stop being concerned about trying to speak perfectly. Your voice needs to be heard, you know. And so from there, I was like, well, I need to practice talking in public. So being on camera like I am now, I was petrified of that. But now with this newfound confidence, confidence that only comes from God, I said, let me buy some little cheap camera. Or no, I don't know. I didn't say that. I said I'm gonna use my phone to record myself. My first time being on camera, y'all, I was talking real slow. it, it's like I still had that fear in I still had that fear in me of, man, I may stammer now. I'm not trying to stutter because I'm so scared or or whatever. So I said I will take my time and talk very slowly. Not crazy slow, but So so I began this journey to speak whenever I could speak. There is a series where I go into more detail about different things I went through as a child, and with stuttering as an adult, as a teenager, and it's called the Stuttering Chronicles, and it's on my YouTube YouTube page, and so you can see and just more detailed things, and some of the things I talked about here are on there, and things I did not talk about here are on there too. And it's probably some things that I talked about here that I did not talk on Pat. Either way, come compare the two, don't compare the two, whatever. But yeah, that was the start of me saying I do not care what people think, say, or whatever. I have a voice. God told me that I have a voice and I need to be heard. And so my first start was working that job with Direct TV, a call center job. Oh man, that was crazy. But and so from there I joined the army. And so you have to talk. And so from the army, I get out and I get a job where I have to face customers. I work for Comcast. And so, man, God has a way of of helping us face our fears. My fear was talking. And we're in a world where you have to talk. So so from there I worked at Comcast, and it's like you have to talk. You have to. And so but yeah, in my when I turned 33, that was the change. So so God gave me all that confidence. I'm telling you, God had to reiterate it too. Cause God can tell you, hey, this is what you should do. And you're like, yeah, I should do that. And then you don't do it. so so it took some time for me to really have perfect confi- perfect confidence in God that I can speak and I should not be afraid and I should not have no fear. So I truly hope that me telling my story will help someone else. Even if you don't stutter, it you might just have fear of speaking in public. And so I hope that this can help someone else, and especially those who may have stuttered, who still stutter, who stammer. Um, I know that you truly understand what I've talked, what I have talked about. uh, being in school as a child, as a teenager, wanting to tell a funny joke, but you just had this fear that, man, I'm cool with these people, but are they laughing at the joke, or are they laughing at me? So, but either way, my point in telling my story is that you can have the confidence of God, to not have the fear of, man, I'm gonna mess up, and if I'm mess up, people are gonna think this about me. Who cares what people think? I'm concerned about what God thinks of me, what my family and my close friends, what they think of me, more than a stranger, someone I don't know, or even someone I or even someone I'm not tight with. So and so I'm gonna leave you guys with a few tips that have helped me. I don't always practice every tip. As you can see, I've been stammering all over this testimony. One is, of course, take your time. Like, tell yourself in your mind. Take your time. I just had to do it because I was about to stammer. Um, take your time. Tell your mind. Say it in your mind. Take your time. Two, breathe, which I have not done perfectly or halfway perfectly as I told my testimony, but it is important to breathe. And as you exhale, speak as you exhale. Let your words flow out of your mouth. And if you have to physically take your time as you are talking, if you catch yourself like, man, I'm talking too fast, slow your speech down. People will wait on you to talk. There are many famous people who talk slow. President Obama, this dude will take his time, and he's thinking as he is talking. He takes his time. And so don't don't be like me and feel like, man, I have to talk fast. You don't. People want to hear what you have to say. And if you stumble over those words, who cares? Who cares? Get your point out and be cool with that. Um, and also say in your mind what you are going to say. That helps also. One last thing. Um, I was speaking. I had a health class, and so here's another thing. Prepare what you are going to say. I did that for this, and it helps you so much better. If you know what you're going to say, if you're confident in what you are going to say, you tend to stammer less or stutter less. So I I I do this health class. I'm in my 30s at this point, and I had the confidence, but I did not practice. And so I was just stumbling over my words. I felt embarrassed. And so I asked a influential person that was there, who's on the radio, who speaks, and all of this stuff. I was like, man, I was just stumbling over my words, and I messed up, and I didn't practice what I was going to say. Do you know what this person said? They said they did not comment on my speech. They said captivated. I was there like listening, like, what is he gonna say next? And as I did look in the crowd, she did have this hook of, really, tell me more. So that let me understand that people are not paying that much attention to your speech as you may think. People want to hear the content of what you're speaking about. They don't care how it sounds, and if you said it perfectly, if you given some good advice, because I do teach health. And so I was concerned about the content of what I was talking about. They could care less if I was stammering or stuttering, or if I felt embarrassed. They were there to hear what I had to say, point blank. And so that taught me two things. Practice, know what you're going. I knew what I was going to talk about, but I did not go over it. And so that's why I stammered so much in it. But yeah, honest to is to practice and to continually tell myself, take your time. It's okay. It's not a rush. You don't you don't you don't have to feel that pressure of, man, I need to talk quickly. Just take your time. If you want people to hear your words clearly, take your time. And so that is my testimony. That is my story. I have a million testimonies. Let me tell you about how God saved my life, how I get, uh, how I get um, lost in South Korea, and I said a prayer, and God led me to the promised land. I mean, I was lost at a time when the people over there were hostile with the Americans, and then I'm as dark as whatever, so I stick out. Uh, but this podcast is just, it's about speaking about current events, speaking about um last day events. Also, just speaking about health and diet and recipes and entrepreneurship also. And so I kicked this thing off by talking about my testimony. And I hope it was a blessing. Tune in next time for A Change is Going to Come podcast by Emmanuel Smith.